Hi guys, and welcome back. I know it's been a little bit. Truth be told, I actually filmed an episode. It was just all over the place and I tried to edit it to make it work, but it just wasn't, and I wasn't proud of it. So I scratched it, skipped a week. I also just want to say thank you so much for everybody who's listened. I've received so many messages and just love. I'm so thankful for people who listen and have just reached out to me. So yeah, let's just hop into it. Today, we're going to talk about situationships. I've been there, I've done that. I know so many people who have been there and done that. I know the way it made me feel awful, and I've seen it just suck the soul out of so many of my amazing besties and friends throughout the years, and it's become a little bit normalized, which I personally, maybe it's hard to hear. I don't think situationships are cute. I don't think they're part of the plot. I genuinely, at this point, I think they're just self-disrespecting and very unhealthy, and I really do believe that a bad situationship can do genuine damage to you and change the trajectory of who you're becoming. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm a situationship hater, and I want to talk about what your situationship says about your self-respect. And I'm coming a little bit brutal on this one, okay? And I don't mean to make anybody feel bad, because like I said, I've been there and I get it. And at times, I even miss my situationship, right? There have been moments where I'm dang, miss that adrenaline, whatever. But I'm just here to lay it down, okay, right? Because it does say something about our self-respect, accepting halfway or accepting a situation, okay? It does speak to how high we hold ourselves. So basically, if you are in a situationship right now, I want you to listen to this and take away something from this and, hopefully dump them. But if you've already been in a situationship and you're kind of in the same boat as me and just never want to let yourself get there again, then hey sister, I'm glad we're on the same page. So, what is a situationship, right? I'm sure we all know, but let's just say someone doesn't. A situationship, in my experience, and in what I see a lot of other people experience, is a relationship. It is a relationship that lacks a clear label, lacks set in stone commitment, and there's no future defined. And I will say there's a difference between the getting to know each other period, where obviously there's no labels. Yeah, if you're just getting to know someone, obviously you're not going to slap a label on something right away, right? That's different. My experience with a situationship, I am low-key fresh out of a situationship. Thankfully. I was in a situationship over the summer. At first, I didn't think it was. At first, I thought we were in the just getting to know each other and hanging out phase, okay? So, let that maybe be a sliver of my defense. But really, I have none. I let myself get into a situationship. At first, I let it be undefined because, whatever, we're just getting to know each other. About 6 weeks in, I knew I liked him, and I told him, I like you. I just want you to know where my head's at. He didn't really know what he wanted. He said he liked me too, of course. And so I gave him that time to think about it, because again, I wasn't in a rush at this point to put a label on it. I was just in the headspace of we're getting to know each other, but let me tell him how I feel. I feel like we're at the point where I can at least communicate, A little over 2 months, and I was like, what's going on here? I'm invested at this point. It's 2 months, and we spent a lot of time together, and, I've kind of, been chill, and I'm getting a little bit, when are you going to bring up how you feel? Can we talk about this? Right? Okay. And then, almost 3 months in, I fucked up and I had the conversation. I went into this conversation like so headstrong, like that I was not going to let myself settle for a maybe. Yeah, so I did. I did. I fucked up and I let myself accept let's see how it goes. Da-da-da. Looking back, sorry if I'm crazy, but I'm pretty sure I know exactly how it was going, right? Like, we were in a relationship. We talked all the time, all day. We did sweet things for each other. We were protective over the idea of one another being or getting with somebody else. We go out in public together. We've met each other's families. We're intimate. The list goes on. But like, we're in a situationship, babe. Like, if all this is happening and we're not putting a label on it, then we're in a situationship. I didn't want to let myself believe it, okay? I didn't. And I caught myself during this let's see how it goes phase, permitting like behavior from them and displaying behavior that I would tell my friends to run from. Like, I would, if I was outside of me, I would have been like, Katie, get the fuck out of there. Get out of there, please. So yeah, I caught myself being like, if this was one of my friends, I'd feel bad for them. I'd feel bad for them. And so yeah, I was just becoming delusional, making excuses for him in my head so that he could stay the way that I liked him. Like, the idea of who he was really, really awesome in my head. Yeah, I did not want to accept who he was, which was non-committal. So all this was happening. I kind of saw myself from the outside. I was becoming delusional and I knew it. And I hated the feeling of knowing I was sugarcoating like our relationship to other people. I'd be like, oh yeah, like he's just figuring out da-da-da. I knew I was lying. I would tell my roommates things and I knew I was sugarcoating the fuck out of what I was saying. And that's kind of when I knew too, like, this is bad. But yeah, at the end of the day, I did come to the realization, and thankfully I didn't let it go on for longer than this. But I knew I was disrespecting myself. I was settling for confusion and uncertainty when, again, like, tuning my own horn, there was nothing about me to be uncertain about that actually mattered. I was really good to him. We got along really well. My heart was very kind. I had very good intentions with him. So there was nothing about me to be uncertain about that actually mattered. And by that, I mean, like, if he just didn't want to commit because of looks or distance or any other factor, that didn't really matter if you liked me. At least in my opinion. Maybe those factors matter to other people. But for me, like, if I really like you, like, looks fade, distance is temporary, right? I let that go, and that was so hard, but I'm so proud of myself. Like, I still give myself a standing ovation for how I've handled this situationship, because I just, like, let it go. I just let it end, and I didn't beg, and I didn't try to explain, and we're gonna get into that, okay? I hold myself to a very high standard, and I want to be an example and leader for those around me, especially people like my little sister. I want an example of a girl in her 20s to be someone who knows, like, her worth and will walk away from something that doesn't serve her. And I work around little girls and teenage girls, and I also want to be an example to them. It's important to me that I hold myself to a high standard to lead by example. If I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for everyone that's looking up to me. So yeah, when he got lazy, I texted him about it. I let it be done. We were not in the same city. We were long distance, sure. So we had to text because he wouldn't call. But anyways, I can't even. Anyways, that's so embarrassing. No chasing, no explaining how I felt, no talking shit about him, no trying to get through to him via his friends, no games, no doors left open, just done, no arguing, just done. Just like a graceful understanding even, what you didn't deserve, but I will give that. Just to see ya. Like okay, bye. Ending it wasn't the hard part. The hard part was admitting that I had been accepting less than I gave. That's embarrassing, right? Now, it's not as embarrassing, but at the time when it ended, it was embarrassing to just admit, like, yeah, I was more invested than he was. And that is the trap of situationships. They make you feel like your patience is love, when really all that waiting and like bending of your rules is self-neglect. Like, I was neglecting myself, neglecting what I deserved. And what I deserved was more than that. And so therefore, what I deserved was to walk away from him. So yeah, situationships, they just get in your head and they really, really make you feel like you are displaying patience, which should be displayed in a relationship. So you trick yourself into being like, well, this is part of a relationship, is patience. When in a situationship, when it's like you're fighting so hard, it's not patience. So yeah, that is my history with situationships. Okay. If you're accepting less than you deserve, if you're accepting less than you are, then people below you will try to drag you down to their level because they feel like they're better than they actually are because they are being gave access to you. People not at your level of emotional intelligence usually know you're too good for them. So when you give someone like that the opportunity to be with you and try again, time and time again, you're like giving them this idea of like, well, they're a good person and they think I'm deserving of multiple chances, so I must not be that bad. Which is just feeding their ego. They're never going to learn if you're like giving them multiple like chances, like, right? In reality, they're thinking they're not that bad, but really they're causing so much destruction and damage in their hunger to feed their ego. And now you've become not only the victim to that hunger, but you've become an accomplice of sorts to let that person believe that they can act like that and still have access to a softness like yours. And maybe he's like a serial situation shipper, and he thinks that because of how you kept giving him access, like he can like treat other women like that as well. So like now you're not only an accomplice in your own relationship, but like low-key the next. Why does he keep getting away with this? I feel like we need to know what we deserve so we know what we will accept and not accept. So when you get in a situationship with somebody like this, you are like diminishing your worth to a situation when you are worth a relationship and commitment. And it just goes to the saying of like, we accept the love we think we deserve. You deserve better than that, but you're accepting less than that. Like, you have to think higher of yourself to get more and to be able to reject less. Now getting into more of the self-respect aspect of a situationship, I think what really just captures everything that I'm going to get into is the saying, you teach people how to treat you. I don't care what people think about me as far as like looks, what I'm doing like with my career, my social media, if I'm a bitch, if I'm loud, if I'm off-putting, if I'm weird. I don't care what people think about me in that way. But I do think it's healthy to care about whether people consider you self-respecting. If I heard somebody say, I think Katie has low self-respect, that would hurt me. That would be something that I did care about if someone thought that about me. I do think it's healthy to care about whether people can see that, if nothing else, at least you're self-respecting. Like, she might be a bitch, weird, loud, off-putting, but at least she's self-respecting. Like, I'll take it, right? Like, I'll take it. And I think this because people are going to respect you as much as you respect yourself. And that goes for a situationship. If you're not respecting yourself in a relationship, someone with low self-esteem and someone who would take advantage of you is going to match that respect. Because if you already have low self-respect and you're not doing anything to change it, a lazy man or woman is not going to change that for you. They won't make you self-respecting. They're going to take advantage of the fact that you are not. Here are some examples of how you teach people how to treat you. If you accept complicated, you're agreeing to confusion. If you keep leaving the door open, they're going to abuse the fact that they can come in and out whenever they want. People don't value open access. People value earned access. If you keep explaining but not embodying, your words mean nothing. In one ear, out the other. They don't care because you're not doing it. I'm going to leave you, or this is done. If you do this one more time, he does it one more time, you take him back. Boop. Your words mean nothing. And you taught them that. If you keep showing grace to someone who doesn't change, you're not patient. You're settling. Grace with no boundaries becomes self-betrayal. You need to have boundaries to your grace. And every time you tolerate inconsistency and blurred lines, you're teaching them that your peace is like negotiable. You're teaching them that your peace is negotiable. And it's not. But on the flip side of things, if you take away anything from this episode, let it be this. If you require clarity, you attract structure. If you close the door once they walk out or they never even wanted to come in the first place, you teach them the privilege of access to you. It's a privilege to come in. It's a privilege to even have the opportunity to come in. Because boundaries teach people that proximity to you is earned, not assumed. Don't let someone uncertain about you assume they are allowed to have access to you. It's earned. Ugh. If you leave when their words don't match their actions, you teach them accountability. There is another side to that, like they have to take accountability, but even if they won't admit it, like by just leaving them the minute that their words and actions are not in alignment, it teaches them accountability whether they admit to it or not. If you protect your softness and your grace with boundaries, you stop becoming someone's safe place to be careless. I love this one. Like, if you are just letting someone have access to your softness and your grace all the time, they will come to you to be careless and to be an idiot. But if you have boundaries around that softness, you're no longer that haven for them to be a fucking idiot. And if you stop giving extensions, and if you stop like extending the date of when you're going to cut it off, or like after this, or, you know, let this happen first and then I'll decide, or I'll cut it off then. If you stop giving extensions to people who miss their chance, then you free up space for someone who will be ready on the first try. There is someone out there who will never ever put themselves in a position to fuck it up. They will know you, they will meet you, they will get to know you, and they will never want how they feel about you to not be clear. So this all being said, all of these if blank then blanks really just lead up to me wanting to tell you guys to be the girl that people talk highly about, and be a partner that the other partner knows that they will need to rise to the occasion and match your self-respect to be with you. And to be that girl and to be that partner, you'll have to pass and reject a lot of half-hearted men before you find the one who actually gives you peace instead of mixed signals. Like, it is going to be hard, because I do think in this age of dating, a lot of people lack self-respect and accept a situationship or a halfway because it's just normalized. So I do think it's going to be hard to find somebody who will give you that peace instead of the mixed signals and the complicated stage. But that's exactly why it's worth the wait. I would rather wait and not ever deal with this bullshit situationship culture that's happening, and be the girl that, like, amidst all of this bullshit, like, just waited and found a guy that's, like, also self-respecting, and I'll never have to move forward in the relationship knowing that, like, there was a moment where he was unsure about me. So to close, I encouraged you guys at the beginning to listen to this, take something away, and, you know, maybe gain some courage to just, like, walk away from your situationship. I think that, like, we should stop permitting people to treat us like we're half deserving. Maybe you're thinking, like, okay, well, all that is really moving and truthful, but, like, how do I even let it go? During my situationship, I knew it was bad. I knew exactly what I was letting happen, and I knew what I deserved, but, like, how do I even go about this? So for me, letting go of a situationship doesn't, there's, like, so many ins and outs, right? Of, like, a breakup or, like, something ending. It sucks. It sucks. It drives you nuts. You just wonder and whatever. But in my experience, how I handled it, I feel really good about. So maybe, like, how I let go of my situationship won't work for everybody, but for the most part, I have faith that it will. So yeah, for me, letting go of a situationship doesn't mean blowing up on them. It doesn't mean guilt tripping them. For me, it just means, like, literally just letting them go softly. Like, no argument put up, no need of an explanation, no explaining how you feel. Just, like, look, I do like you, but this doesn't serve me. You don't even have to, like, tell them, I don't like that we're in a situationship. Like, this just doesn't serve me. This isn't supporting me. This is making me tired. I want to let this go. And I don't explain, because I think men at this age know exactly what they're doing. Men know just as well as you do when you're in a half-assed relationship. And they know that it's their fault. A lot of the time, like, they know, at least in my situationship, you knew, gosh, I'm talking directly to you now, okay? You knew that it was me that wanted to be with you, and that you were the one keeping that from happening. Like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and explain to you what you did to me, because you know, men at this age, they know. Yeah, explaining is just useless. Just let it go. And if you think that walking away, like, quietly like that means that, like, you lost or something, like, there's no losing when you're upholding yourself to a high standard. Silence is often the loudest boundary you can set. Walk away in a way that doesn't feel like you need to punish them, but just walk away to guard your own heart from the exhaustion that comes with a situationship. And when you let it go, genuinely let it go. No doors open, no games, no maybe in the future, no loose ends. When you just drop it, it displays really true and high self-respect. And I, in my situation, admire the way that I refused to accept complicated after that point. I had given enough grace. I had been considerate enough, and my kindness was mistaken for weakness. And I admire the way that I refused to accept that. Outside of the situationship, I think of myself in such high regard for the way that I handled that, and that I didn't accept halfway. And in the situationship, I felt ashamed and, like, unworthy, and I was, like, diminishing my value to meet what this person was ready for as far as a relationship. I just felt shitty about myself. And to just drop it, I feel so much better. Like, yeah, like I miss the idea of him and like having someone romantically in my life, but I don't miss how I felt when I was sugarcoating what we were to our friends and like how he was acting. I don't miss that. I don't miss that enough. And honestly, to end on a very confident note, low-key is something that helped me and is helping me heal from like the end of the situationship that I was in is just feeling sorry for them. Like, I just feel bad for the person that I was in a situationship with, because you know, with where they're at, they'll just continue to get involved in these meaningless and indefinite situationships because that's the love they think they deserve. Like, I feel bad that like he thinks he's not deserving of a real relationship that builds something. I feel bad for him. Like, that sucks. Like, I feel bad. Not enough to stick around and teach him, but I do feel bad. Like, that is sad to me. Lots of times what I also see outside of my own situationship, but also with other ones that I've observed, is that usually the person that's unable to commit is like low-key actually insecure. And they know they don't deserve much in return for what they've put in. And instead of taking accountability for the messes of relationships that they've made, they'll chase the next instant gratification of a situationship that will accept them for who they are. Because accepting who they really are in a relationship, on top of the insecurity they already feel about themselves, is probably terrifying for them. Like, they probably feel like the fact that all of these women or men will accept them as situationships, that's probably the only type of fulfillment they're getting, because they're insecure, and that love and that their reassurance isn't coming from within. And to accept that they're not a good partner on top of already feeling like shit about themselves, they probably feel like they would lose everything and they would have no source of self-esteem. And I just feel bad for people that live their life that way. I'm not happy they feel that way, but I'm happy that I don't know what that's like. And I'm happy I have enough self-respect to respect the people that I get into relationships with. Let's choose to let go, forgive, and just stand tall in who we are, because we're great and we're proud to have more self-respect and compassion than the person who got us into a situationship does. Yeah, so situationships are painful, and like, I get that it's hard to walk away, and I don't want any of this to like make you feel like shit, because like, we've all accepted less than we deserve at some point. So it's relatable, it's understandable. I wouldn't be sitting here talking about it if I hadn't experienced it myself. I just want better for everyone that's accepting less than they deserve, because this is really our only chance at life. And not to like get too far into that, but like, who you choose to give your time to, it really does matter. And I just don't want anybody to waste some of their precious time in their 20s or teens to give valuable time to something that's half-assed. You deserve like something like so overwhelmingly passionate and real. Like, life is too short for a situationship. Hopefully you took away something from this. I just want everyone to live their life to the fullest, and also just be filled with love that is genuine and you deserve good, soft, great, committing, faithful love. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. And I will be back soon with another episode. Bye, guys.